Hi everyone, it's Vani again. I have Kamaljeet over here, and today we'll be continuing with chapter 6. We'll be discussing more about the soul and its journey and various parts and everything. Um, and we have Kamaljeet here. Hi, Kamaljeet, how are you doing?
Hi, Vani. Thank you for having me again. Yes, we are talking about the soul today,
Mm-hmm.
more about the soul and the various bodies,
Yeah,
right?
that's exciting. So the first question I want to dive into is right from the book, and it is, what is a soul? What does it look like? And where does the soul reside? Because I know there's been a lot of confusion, not lot of confusion, but a lot of debate on ultimately where the soul lives in our body. So, what does Bapuji have to say about that?
Yes, regarding what is a soul, first of all, soul is also known as Atma,
Mhm.
and we will use both the terms because for viewers sometimes they may get confused. What is Atma? I will use both the terms. And soul, in a way, is accepted by all religions
Mhm.
as divine truth, and it's a continuous life form. It is something that's always there.
Yeah.
And in some cultures, Atma is called the spirit as well,
Mhm.
or in some cultures it is called Ruh.
Yeah.
While in other cultures, commonly, people understand it as the soul.
Yeah.
And science has a lot of confusion. They have not really identified as soul as itself,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really have any definition other than it is some kind of a consciousness or some energy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research that has continued on this front,
Yeah.
and but a spiritual seeker is always aware that he is a soul. There is something, there's an inner feeling, that inner realization
Mhm.
uh, within a person who is a spiritual seeker. He will know that he is a soul and the body is merely a vehicle for him, for the soul to carry out whatever his actions are.
Mhm.
And when we are talking about this particular book and knowledge of the infinite, supreme spiritual truth, that
Mhm.
is the Behad Gyan,
Mhm.
we are talking about a Behad soul, means a soul who realizes this truth.
Mhm.
And so this Behad soul is made of something that is an element that is called Param Prakash.
Okay.
And this is also understood as supreme divine light.
Yeah.
And the divine light rays of the soul that surrounds the core of the light and spreads out in all directions,
Mhm.
from the core of the soul, the light that really spreads, is transmitted all around,
Yeah.
is called might. The inner core is the light, and the outer core is the might, the way it's spreading around, right?
Might. Uh,
Might, Might.
might. Okay.
And by might, one can understand it as Prakriti or nature, the
Mhm.
energy of that soul, the vibrancy that it creates, around itself.
Mhm.
So it is called, also mainly known as, recognized as Prakriti.
Okay.
Prakriti.
Yeah.
And in a way, you can also explain it. It is like a protective sheath around that soul,
Yeah.
right? So, and where is the soul situated? Located in the physical, physical body as a human being. People have said different things,
Mhm.
but Bapuji has explained it very clearly, and even in the ancient, Sanatan scriptures,
Mhm.
like Vedas and Shastras, it is very clearly indicated that the soul resides in the center of the forehead, or you can say in the center of the mind.
Mhm.
It is between the eyebrows. The eyebrows, there is a center point where people,
Yeah.
in between that point, behind that, it is located somewhere there.
Okay.
Sometimes people say it is close to the pineal gland, but yes, this is also known as the cave of Rama. It
Yeah.
is somewhere there. It's not a very big space, but the soul is really very, very small. It's just, and it shines brightly like the light of the stars.
Yeah.
So this is how it is the size of the soul is 1 trillionth the size of the diameter of hair strand. One
Okay.
trillionth of that. So you can imagine how small it can be, if we have to really think about it.
Yeah.
So in a way, it cannot be seen by our normal eyes. We have to see it with the eyes of our mind and to understand. And the moment we get into our soul conscious state, we will get the realization and the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
This experience itself is phenomenal, and people at times have given very interesting descriptions. They travel through different spaces and realms once they realize their soul.
Mm-hmm.
And to further, understand what about the Atma and the mind, like the soul and the mind. So mm, our our Atma, our soul contains our mind, right? So the soul is the supreme, and it contains the mind. It's
Okay.
not the other way around, that the soul is inside a body. It is not like that. We can talk about it like that for our normal understanding,
Mm-hmm.
but in truth, the soul has the mind in it. It is superior. It is so superior.
Okay.
And inside the mind, we have there is the intellect. Mind creates thoughts. It
Mm-hmm.
So inside, so Atma has mind inside it.
Okay.
Mind has intellect
Yeah.
that starts reasoning and does most of the talking.
Yeah.
And inside this intellect, lies our sanskars, like our mental impressions. Whatever we are creating, these are called sanskaras.
Mm-hmm.
And mental impressions, recollections, and psychological imprints.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that these sanskaras, these impressions, what are created,
Mm-hmm.
these are the seeds that create the karma. They create actions, because when we are thinking
Mm-hmm.
and we are making these impressions through our emotions,
Mm-hmm.
they become seeds to create our actions and karmas,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So in reality, the soul remains. So in truth, the soul actually is untouched by what the mind is doing,
Mm-hmm.
because this is the doing of the mind.
Yeah.
Mind and the intellect that is within the mind. This is the game of the mind. That is why it is known as illusion. It is just, these are imprints, and they kind of create a veil on the soul with these impressions. So uh, because of these impressions, a lot of karmic layers are created, because we have so many impressions based on our emotions, our mental thoughts, our grievances, our anger, our judgment, our reactions, our ego. Lot of veils on top of the souls are created, and they are becoming like layers of karma,
Yeah.
karmic layers.
So then what is the impact of our like karma and our karmic actions on the soul? Um, so our physical body is accumulating all of this karma through its actions. Um, and so is it like covering the soul with these layers, and like what is the soul going to carry all this in the afterlife?
Yeah, so yes, the soul in itself, like I said, is untouched by all this.
Yeah.
But for the soul to recognize its true self, it has to undo all the karmic layers. That process is the process that is taken care of, can be dealt with when one is in the human form. It does take the actions. Most of it is done here. There are certain things that are also, which when these souls that are evolved, they go into higher realms, they still keep working on certain things. But a lot of this work is done as in a physical human body. And with these innumerable layers of karmic impressions on itself, it has to remove them, and that is why the cycle of birth and death keeps on continuing until this is undone. And how it is undone? It is through your practice, conscious awareness that what is it that is affecting my life, what is it I'm doing wrong, and getting deeper into our own inner meditative practice to understand when you're in meditation, and you will start realizing that this is what I'm doing, that I need to change. You will tend to change karmic layers with that action of meditative practice, reading, understanding the Behad Gyan, the infinite knowledge of truth. Will help you. Everything together will help you build and purify your soul consciousness.
Yeah.
And bring that thing to your awareness. So actually, soul is the owner. We have our physical body. We have our mind. Soul, actually, the soul is the owner of all the bodies. But yet, due to ignorance, most of us in our human life, we are completely unaware that these bodies are invisible, and it is simply rely on our physical actions and senses to that make us feel that, oh, it is a reality. This is, we are just relying on the physical senses. It's just an illusion which we are in our human body not aware of it.
Yeah.
So, most people on earth spend their whole life just giving into these pleasures of the illusionary Maya world. So, again, like I said before, when we are in our soul conscious state, we start understanding that, and then we realize all the subtle truth and we get, our inner self is awakened to that.
Yeah.
It's something that cannot be described in words as such. One can try, but one has to experience this.
Yeah.
And it is, soul possesses the various bodies of the soul are beyond the physical body, actually. That is the truth.
So I understand that there are parts of the soul. Like you mentioned, different types of souls. Can you elaborate on that? Like different, there are different bodies that the soul carries.
Yeah, I think first we can start with we'll talk about the various bodies. First, we will start with the physical body that we are aware of. We have a physical body that is made up of 5 elements, as we discussed before. I will repeat the 5 elements. These are the earth, water, fire, air, and space. And space, that is very important, that is akash or ether. And this physical body, this body of 5 elements, we have bone and skin, and we take action with it. So this is called the sthul sharir, the physical body. Sthul, physical is sthul and body is sharir.
Okay.
Yeah, and when the soul is in the physical body, it lacks that soul power, because it's not in that realized state, right? So it lacks enough soul power due to the presence of the earth element. Earth element is very heavy. Earth element and the water elements, these are heavy coverings on the soul. And due to this, the physical body, mind, intellect of the human soul they are trapped in the physical happening of the surrounding, because the mind is at work and the physical body is taking action based on that mind. So it is kind of trapped in the physical realm of the happening and doing, creating karma. And the soul will be, the human souls are engaged in, merrymaking, enjoying their life. And the actual truth remains hidden to the, it's the soul is deprived of that truth. Then comes the subtle body. The subtle body is, it is also known as the Suksham Sharir. Sharir is the body and subtle is Suksham. And, when the soul experiences death of the physical body or the gross body, 5 elements disintegrate. All the 5 elements disintegrate. The 5 elemental physical body will change into the 3 elemental subtle body. The earth element will get mixed with earth or soil. Water element will get burnt and will evaporate, will kind of evaporate, vaporize. What is left, is are the remaining elements of fire, ether, and what is called the air element. So, and at this stage of when the body dies, the physical body, the earth and the water element have gone away. The body of the 3 elements cannot be seen by the naked eye. Like as a human person, one cannot just see. There are people who have inner vision, and then with that inner vision they can see the subtle body as well, right? But with the normal human, at the normal human intellect level, you cannot see the subtle body. This is about the subtle body, and inside the subtle body, all impressions of all our karmic accounts and of the soul are present. It has the soul can travel in this subtle world by means of this body. It can travel to a certain extent, depending on its power also, like we discussed about the power of the soul. So with the subtle body, the soul can travel. And again, how far it can travel, how far it can ascend will depend on the power it accumulated at the time when it was in the physical body as well, right? So it is only through divine vision, subtle body, like I said, can be seen, and the soul can travel into higher dimensions. These are also, the higher dimensions are also made of subtle and the finer elements, or one can say the supreme elements. The higher we go, the more subtle or the more supreme the elements become. So yeah. And then beyond this, what to understand further what is happening, there's another body within, that is called it is called as the causal body. It's a causal body, and one can wonder how the mind is created, what is creating thoughts, and as soon as the soul is created, mind is also created, because it starts to work. And so because of so many thoughts that happen, it creates that action, and karma gets created. So soul continues to perform these karmas with the intellect, and impressions of, we spoke about sanskaras. So these impressions or these sanskaras are also created with that. And then with this, with these sanskaras, a causal body gets created, because we are creating a karmic pattern in our life. So with these karmas, a Karan Sharir is created, and this is called the causal body. Karan is the causal, is the reason, or the causal body. So this is how the subtle body gets, developed into a causal body. And so the physical body is created from the subtle body in a way. And it's important to understand that the cause of creation of either of the bodies is the other body, which we are talking about. And the body that is formed due to the aspects of a, mind,
Mhm.
desires, thoughts, and actions is the causal body because it is creating that action.
Mhm.
And so, it can trap a human into sinful actions, lustful desires, repeated negative thinking. And all of these, even simple thoughts, simple thinking, robs us of our energy.
Mhm.
So even simple thoughts can do that. So sinful actions, lustful actions will definitely deplete your energy. You
Mhm.
lose a lot of power in that.
Mhm.
And the imprints of karma as well as negativity that gets stored in our causal body can be destroyed by charging this causal body
Mhm.
supreme power or supreme divine light. Like when people meditate,
Mhm.
in meditation, they pull or they invoke the divine light.
Mhm.
They invoke the divine power of the creator
Mhm.
and draw that into their causal body, and
Mhm.
that destroys this current sharir. It destroys what is stored in the current sharir or the causal body,
Mhm.
purify it. So what happens is sometimes the actions are so negative of a person. Like even in fact, many psychologists have also said that when you're thinking or there are certain thoughts that are predominating your mind,
Mhm.
they can create diseases in your physical
Yep.
body. They
Mhm.
can create not only mental health problems, but they will also create physical health problems. So it depends, what kind of, and in fact, I know of this. I don't know whether she was a psychologist or not. I don't know, but there was this lady by the name of Louise Hay. She has written many books,
Mhm.
Louise Hay, and she has written about what kind of thoughts, what kind of affirmations, lead to certain type of uh, certain affirmations will help you to get rid of certain diseases. Means
Mhm.
those thoughts actually create diseases in your mind, so you have to clear yourself of that.
Mhm.
So she has created a book. She's written a book on affirmations about it. So and I can give you an example. The causal body primarily is definitely made of the ether element. Like we also said that there's a lot of information that gets stored in this ether element, right? It is the akash element.
Yeah.
We were talking about the akashic records,
Yeah.
actions, and everything is stored there.
Mhm.
So it is present from the throat area till the navel.
Mhm.
This long, it is a fine string, illuminated fine white string,
Uh-huh.
like that, the finest line that you can draw.
Mhm.
So this is the causal body, this is the space, and the soul resides in the center of the forehead, behind the forehead.
Mhm.
And then I will not go into too much of detail because uh, the book has explained a lot of things in detail. One must read the book.
Mhm.
And do you have any questions at the moment? Then
Uh,
we can talk about the supracausal body.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, after the causal body, there is this the supracausal body or Mahakaran Sharir. What does that mean?
So yes, there is the supracausal body, and so uh, this first of all, let me tell you what is the supracausal body or the Mahakaran Sharir made of.
Mhm.
It is made of supreme elements. It is
Yeah.
made up of three supreme elements.
Mhm.
That is the Paramakash or the supreme ether element,
Yeah.
Param Vayu or the supreme air element,
Mhm.
or Param Agni, that is the supreme fire element. So these are so all these are Param means supreme. So it is made up of very fine elements of very superior quality, and they do not have any purities, and one can ascend when these elements increase in your body. Then you are going on the right track, right spiritual path towards your ascension. And these supreme elements are highly subtle, and means they are not, you can't just see them like that. It is an element or something I can see, it's something color, fragrance in the air or something. It's not colored thing that you will see like that. And it is far more refined. Like I said, it is very, very pure and very pious, far more refined than the other subtle elements we were talking about. And these are, but then these are enclosed within the subtle elements. The supreme elements are enclosed within the subtle elements. So it means, so when a soul thinks a lot, many thoughts are coming, many desires are happening. When a lot of this happens, there will be many unfulfilled desires as well. And what happens at this time is the supreme elements get converted into normal elements.
Okay.
Right? Because there is the space has been taken over by these, I will in a way say impure elements, of thoughts, desires that lower your energy and frequency. So these, in a way, they work like pollutants to your supreme element, and it becomes like a regular element, like Akash Tattva, Vayu Tattva, Agni Tattva. It gets lower to that. I mean, the supreme is left out.
So
And
that's like it's going to a lower realm then.
yeah, it is pushing you to go into a lower dimension. Yeah, because your thoughts are the more you think, and it is pulling you away from the spiritual. The spiritual path and the true state of the soul is being, you remember in the beginning we were talking about karmatit, gunatit, that I'm devoid of any actions, I'm devoid of any emotions, I do not display and devoid of any actions, karmas, or creating any actions. So the soul is in a pure, peaceful state. That the true nature of the soul is Param Shanti, that is in total peace. And that is why Bapuji tells us to chant Param Shanti more often, continue to chant so that your soul realizes its true state. Like you're calling out, if I call you by your name, I'm calling you. So if I call myself, then I'm repeating the word, phrase Param Shanti. So it is awakening, bringing peace to your soul and your body. And that's how the soul also is awakened in the process. So the thoughts, affirmations are also known as sankalp, and of a soul that they manifest into, because whenever we are thinking, we have put an intention out. And the moment you put an intention out, sooner or later, it is likely to manifest, right? And so affirmation through these elements create such kind of energy that depletes the soul of its purified elements. It depletes the energy of the soul. It the pure elements get the level of the pure elements is decreased. And so that is why the energy and power of the supreme elements are far greater than the average subtle elements. So when you see a very pious and elevated person, you feel very good in his presence. Somebody who is calm, you feel he's a spiritual leader, because the supreme elements are far more than a normal person in his body. And he is not thinking about anybody. He's not judging anybody. It's not releasing any emotions, right?
Yeah.
And so another thing that I want to talk about the supracausal body is that it lies within the causal body, which I've also mentioned. And so I think this is what I can say. In a state of pure soul consciousness, there will not be any trace of the mind. You know, when the soul comes to the pure state of consciousness, it will there will be no trace of the mind, and there will be no existence of any supreme subtle body as well.
Yeah.
So it is in an incorporeal state. This is called the nirgun nirakar bij roop sthiti, means this is incorporeal. It cannot be seen, right? It is formless. It is in a seed state, that its original state of the soul when it was created, and it does not have any layers of any actions, karma, nirgun, right? So it is nirgun, nirakar, bij roop sthiti. Bij roop is seed state. And so this is about that.
Okay. You also mentioned there are different types of souls. So these are the different types of souls that are that a soul. These are different types of forms the soul can take. Or is that something different?
Yeah, like every soul has its own creator.
Yeah.
Right? We were talking about the solar system, and then beyond the solar system is the galaxy. So there is a creator of the solar system, or the Brahman. And then beyond that, there is a creator of the galaxy, and beyond the galaxy, there is a creator of that universe as well. So number of galaxies come under that.
Yeah.
So each of these creators have created their own souls. They disintegrated at a time, and we will study that in chapters further down. Bapuji has explained in a very good, in a diagrammatic way. I hope I can share the diagram in the later chapters.
Yeah.
How did these souls come into being? So when these ether element or the akash tattva was separated from the main course, from the main creator.
Yeah.
The souls created, these souls were created in the causal world of this Brahman by their creators in this rapid manner.
Okay.
The the Akash Tattva is the main component, the supreme element. And if we have to in a way classify these souls as per their energy level, with their only causal body, it might be considered to be a lower quality of the soul.
Okay.
And these souls can travel up to a certain level only, certain limited dimensions of the creation.
Yeah.
It also depends on the power they have in the power of their affirmations, or the sankalp, or the intention they have had. And for them to travel into any lower dimensions below the causal world is not very difficult, but in the lower dimensions, because if they are thinking negatively, they will be drawn to the lower dimensions.
Yeah.
And because their bodies become heavier, it's hard for them to ascend. So for them to ascend, their bodies have to be very light. Right? So it is important to understand this thing. And the basic elements of these souls are of the higher souls that are of higher quality. These are the supreme elements, is the Param Tattva. And there are other supreme elements of which are higher than the supreme element. It is called Mahaparam, Mahatattva. It is beyond that. It is beyond comprehension in a way. It is called the Param Prakash, or the high quality supreme element. So there is a power that is attributed to these elements, because of which this is known as a celestial power, or it is also known as the kala. So the degree of celestial power or the kala starts from the value of 1 to 100. And also from 100 kala to 2101 kalas. I mean, this is going higher up. The hierarchy is just going up. It is beyond. So the souls assume different type of bodies. First of all, their creators are different. Because of the hierarchy of the creator, the power of this creator is also different.
Okay.
The creator of the universe will have far more power, and the souls, the creator of the universe created, will be high powered souls. And those have, if from there the creator of the galaxy has created souls of its own, they would have lost the power. How that was created, like I said, it was created with the power of intention. The elements get disintegrated. And the souls are created. So likewise, for the Brahman, for the solar system, the power is far lower than what the souls from the universe had. Right? So these souls have different creators and they have different powers. So basically, the soul, has three stages depending on the elements in their body. So when the soul is in its purest form, the purest state, it is called the Nirakari stage, where it is incorporeal. It is formless, and it is in the seed state. And then when the moment it has created a thought, the moment there was a thought that came through, it takes a form, a different form. It is called the Akari form, or a subtle form, and it will be made of subtle elements. And so these subtle elements, it can also be made of supreme subtle elements as well, like we discussed before. And then the power of the Akari soul depends on the kind of soul it is, the power it has received from the creator, right? So then is the Sakari form, that is the physical form. Physical form has a physical body, like a human body. It can be, in any other dimension, it might have a different kind of a body, depending on that solar system. But on planet Earth, in our solar system, we have human body or any other kind of body, can be vegetable, fruit, or tree or plant, shrub, animal, can be anything. So that is the Sakari body that is taken into the form of 5 elements. So during the journey of the soul takes these all forms, from Nirakari to Akari to Sakari. And then what happens is, from this it has to go back. From the Sakari form, it comes in the soul conscious. You have to, again, in the Sakari form, it is an opportunity for you to experience and go back to your soul consciousness, awaken to your soul consciousness to realize the Nirakari state. So you have to go back to the Akari and the Nirakari. This is the journey of the soul, which we will discuss, in our further chapters also. Discuss more of it in detail.
Okay. So I guess that concludes the chapter then.
Yes.
Yeah, so this has been very interesting. it's very detailed, and then the fact that our souls can travel, and they have so many bodies, and it's just a lot of information.
Yeah, it is. It'll be more clear when we discuss other chapters.
Mhm,
Because it is, and again, like I said, one must read the book because there is so much written in the chapter that
mhm,
it's hard to explain in a conversation. And
mhm,
we are not creating any videos on this to, diagrams or something like that, which are not there in the book.
mhm,
So it becomes difficult to visualize when you're talking too much. So
mhm,
I think this is enough for the conversation, and the rest people must go through the book to
mhm.
understand more.
Yeah. So like what I get from this is like just like think good, and just like control your thoughts and what you're thinking, because that really matters. And um yeah, just your actions and non-actions and all of that. And we just have to like strive to just get more knowledge, and like affirmations are so important. I didn't know that affirmations can actually help with diseases, and like the stress causes diseases, obviously. So if the stress is basically our thoughts. So our thoughts, if we, instead of stressing about things, if we think about positive things, then I'm sure that'll also have some sort of an impact on our body. So yeah, it's nice to see uh
Yeah,
yeah, connection between that.
yeah. There is this Param Shanti motivation and meditation channel.
Mhm,
That and the presenter is Sakshi Patel.
mhm,
It is on YouTube. She performs, she does these daily guided meditations. These
mhm,
are always connected to a story for a better focus. Means again, you're understanding a part of a philosophy, then the guided meditation leads you. So in the guided meditation, she uses affirmations which are very, very helpful.
mhm,
It increases the scope of understanding, number one, and you come into that expansive state of consciousness to
mhm.
ascend. You feel that your soul is really showing you the path.
Yeah.
So these are very focused meditations which she does daily.
Mhm.
And so one can always look into these Param Shanti and motivation YouTube channel for daily meditations as well.
Okay. So we'll definitely add a link to that,
Yeah,
viewers, underneath the video. And well, that concludes everything then, Kamaljeet. Thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you for having me, and we'll meet again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll
Okay.
see you for the next chapter then.
Thank you.